Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Thursday's Travel Talk with Travel Time. We have been bringing you these series of live conversations with different ones of our suppliers to help ignite the passion for travel that we know everybody has. It may not be the time right now for traveling, but it is the time for planning and dreaming, and that's what we're about here at Travel Time. So we're happy today to have with us two representatives from Royal Caribbean Cruises, and we have Eric and Patricia, and they're going to have a chat with us for a few minutes and tell us all about that experience and what we can expect going forward, and talk about a few different group options that we have on hold with Travel Time TPI, and we are hoping to have some of our valued guests on board that ship. Without further ado, thank you to both of you. Eric, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And Patricia, thank you for joining us as well.
Yes, very excited to be here.
So, Royal Caribbean Cruises has been around for a long time and have been a favorite partner of us here at Travel Time. Way back when my kids were small, we actually did a few family cruises where we kind of opened it up through my agency. I went with my family and arranged all of the shore excursions and everything and accompanied the whole group. And we had a whole pile of families with kids of all ages join us. And it was just the most fantastic family vacations. So tell us, what is it about Royal Caribbean that makes it a favorite?
Yeah, I'll steal that one first, I would say. So I think the special part about Royal Caribbean is it really is a multi-generational ship. And it means really that you can go on with every age group and there's literally something for everyone to do. So I myself am a mom of two. So my boys are almost 10 and 13, and they have a blast because when we're on board, there's no shortage of entertainment. So whether we want to relax by the pool, go down a slide, or participate in all the activities, as a mom, the fact that all the activities are included and there's no additional fee is a little plug there is wonderful. So they could be zip lining in the afternoon. They could be shooting down our dry slide, the Ultimate Abyss, which you can kind of see over here on my background. There's so many things that keep us busy. And then my husband and myself can be enjoying a nice coffee and strolling through the promenade and really just enjoying ourselves. And then as we're going through, we always know, oh, my mom would like that. Oh, my brother would love this. Oh, this, particular evening event. Oh, I know someone that would love it. So really, as you're personally enjoying the cruise, you can see how every single person in your life could enjoy it as well. And I think that's a really special thing that Royal Caribbean has, is we are really inviting to guests of all ages.
That is one of the things that I remember most, actually. My kids were kind of in that age range and even a little older in some of the group ones that we did for families. And there is really something for every age group. And right. Whether that's in the excursions or in the onboard activities, it was so great to see that they really do cater to whatever the interests are.
Absolutely. And I think even with our kids club that's included, right? So you go right from 3 years old all the way up to 17. And even for those teens, because, it gets a little awkward in those ages where they're like, I don't want to be part of a kids club. So what Royal's done, because we are such an innovative brand and we really do recognize certain things, we actually have teen spaces that are not, called out as teen space. It's called like the backyard or the living room and like different areas. It's little pods. They can kind of hang out, not socialize and be on their phones, because that's what kids do at this time, unfortunately. But at least we give them a space where they can kind of feel apart from the kids club and doing something on their own, right? So it really does cater so differently, and all these little nuances you would never know about unless you're on board. And then you get on board and you're like, oh wow, this is like so cool.
And things like skating at sea, that skating rink, and some of the skaters that were on board, I remember a few occasions, like you're just holding your breath. Are they going to pull this off? And yeah, the ship is moving, but no problem.
Couldn't agree more. It's incredible for sure.
Yeah, things like, some of the activities that I know was part of what our group enjoyed was, watching the skating or even skating themselves, and then the zip lining and, the mini golf, any host of activities that you could mention were available. And some of the ships have just an incredible amount of activities available.
Right. And I mean, the thought of, varying ships, you could be, doing bumper cars in one spot. You could be skydiving with Alaska scenery behind you. Like, the options are unlimited. We now have laser tag on a lot of our ships, right? So that skating rink, so talking multi-purpose, will actually cover that skating rink up. And we have a glow in the dark, blow up laser tag zone. So, like, you know, when you want to escape from the sun, it's kind of mid-afternoon, fantastic. There's another complimentary activity for you to try. And it's good for kids and adults alike, right? So it's just a fun little getaway. So back to being innovative, we're always thinking about what's the next new activity. Like, if you've ever seen that dome with the bungee cords that you're strapped into, you're jumping on a trampoline. And if you want, you could put a VR set on and you could be shooting aliens on the moon, right? So such a cool, and again, the ages, it's limitless, right? Like, you can be a little guy or an adult and enjoy it just the same. So I love that element.
That's a really good point, because, you know, multi-generational is a lot of, you know, the kinds of people when you're on board, you do see people, you know, families with small kids and then the grandparents and the aunts and uncles. It is a great way to enjoy time together. You know, sometimes groups want to connect like that. They want to have those opportunities. They don't necessarily want to be together every minute of the day. So having all those activities where people do things that are geared towards their interest, but then they come together for that beautiful supper in the evening. And that is some of the most special times, and pictures that we have that we go back to as a family, even with the other families that we were with and so on. Every now and then I see the memories pop up on Facebook where, you know, pictures of that special dinner where even the kids who think that they don't like it, you know, when they get dressed up in not necessarily dressy clothes, but nicer clothes, and go and sit down and have that beautiful dinner that's served with as many courses as they like. Those teenagers love that.
And I think that's what we're looking the most forward to getting back to after this pandemic, right? I mean, we've been almost a year. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of this pandemic. That's one anniversary I'm not looking forward to celebrating at all. But what I'm looking forward to doing, though, is exactly what you were saying, Lois, is going back with friends, with family, with loved ones, and sharing special moments. And there are just so many opportunities on a Royal Caribbean International cruise ship to be celebrating, whether it's an anniversary, whether it's a birthday, whether it's just celebrating, you know what, we're back to normal and we're just celebrating a vacation, a well-earned vacation together with all these activities and great dining. I mean, the inclusion of dining that we have on board our ship is absolutely bar none.
Yeah, and that's another great point too. We're talking about families and all the activities and things for teens, but I will say here at the agency, we probably have as many couples as anyone else go on Royal Caribbean ships. So just because it has all these things that are, you know, keeping teenagers entertained, it doesn't mean that it's not like a perfect choice for a couple to enjoy.
And I would even argue that it's an additional reason because the size of the ships is such that we have the space to have these dedicated venues, these dedicated spaces for each age group. So personally, when I'm traveling with only friends of the same age, we're never worried that we're going to have a bunch of kids having fun around us because you know what? They are in an area that's dedicated to themselves. I mean, take it as an example, the Oasis class of ships. There are 4 main pools, and one of those 4 main pools is dedicated to kids only. So they gravitate naturally towards that space because that is where they have their activities, that's where they have their water games and whatnot. And the rest of us, the adults, we're going to hang out by another pool where there are less kids, or even in my case, I'm going to go straight to the water slides. But hey, I'm a special.
And there's those specialty restaurants too that, you know, if you're traveling just with your spouse or your partner and you want to, you know, kick it up a notch for the evening dining and you don't want to go to the main dining room, there are some great options with specialty dining that you can enjoy.
Absolutely. And the quality of the specialty dining is something that Patricia could actually talk to and attest to.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was telling a story just yesterday, actually. My husband is a butcher by trade and owns his own business at the St. Lawrence Market downtown Toronto. which is also voted as National One. And I'm not plugging the shop. I'm just saying it's voted #1 by National Geographic. So I can't say he doesn't know what he's talking about. He actually does know what he's talking about. So there's our Chopped Steakhouse on board, and it's on board all of our ships. And it is such a spectacular experience, not because it's like this little getaway and you walk in and it's this luxurious restaurant with like rich colors and beautiful furniture, and you just feel like, okay, I'm somewhere, right? Like I feel like I'm in a different place. And then the quality is incredible. So my husband is rightfully so a snob when it comes to steak. And every time he's complimenting the chef, he's telling the wait staff how fantastic the cuts of meat are. So you really are getting quality at truly a fraction of the cost. So although there is an upcharge for our specialty dining, if you were to relate the most top-end steakhouse in your neighborhood, wherever that may be, you're talking about 10 to 20% of what your bill would be that you would pay on board, right? So it's such a small fee for the quality that you're receiving. So we always encourage that when it comes to, if you're on a 7-night cruise and maybe you are celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, definitely worth that little splurge. It just feels so special to go and do something like that, right? So yeah, we're big fans of the specialty dining for sure.
So let's talk about the overall experience for a guest. We know that the amount of activities and things on board, so from the time that a person contacts us, like an agency that specializes with Royal Caribbean and books, from then on, what can they expect? Can we kind of go over that journey?
Sure. Eric, you want to take that one? Or are you?
All right, let's give it a try.
I can do it together. You kick off and I'll continue on.
All right. So essentially, the first thing that I want to tell the auditors, the watchers that are looking at this video right now, is you absolutely need to use the services of a professional travel advisor, because it makes such a wonderful difference in your travel experience. Lois and all of our team, they are experts at the Royal Caribbean product. They know how to get you there. And not only are they experts, but they're recognized experts. Point in case, whenever Lois and her team books a Royal Caribbean experience, we know where the reservation comes from. And we're going to go ahead and add some added value items on the booking. So as an example, if you were to book a balcony stateroom or above, you would get automatically one of the specialty dining experiences that we were telling you about, and that would be on a complimentary basis because we have this relationship with Lois and her team. So that's the first thing that I would say about it. And then when you board a Royal Caribbean ship, you're always going to have a very smooth experience. And that's something that may change in the first few months post-pandemic. Of course, a lot of things are going to change. A lot of this operational field stuff is going to change a little bit, at least temporarily. But one of the things that we can absolutely tell you is that we're going to take very, very good care of our guests. We're going to make sure that everybody is going to be traveling in a safe and an enjoyable manner. What form is it going to take in the first few months? We still don't know, but we have a little bit of experience already, however. There is this one ship that we are operating right now, the Quantum of the Seas out of Singapore. And I can tell you that the ratings are absolutely through the roof. We're able to offer our guests such an amazing and enjoyable experience. And that's really one of the trademarks of Royal Caribbean, making sure that everything happens very smoothly, you're very well looked after, and that when you get on board your ship, you're going to find spacious venues, you're going to find a lot of services and a lot of variety. Because again, talking about the fact that our ships tend to be on the more spacious side than some other ships. We're known for that. We're known for our large ships because we've discovered several years ago that building a large ship affords you the space to offer more space per person. Of course, it goes without saying, but it also is a vector of variety. So on board our ships, you're going to find a lot of bars, a lot of lounges, a lot of theme bars, and then also a lot of dining opportunities. And you'd be surprised to see how many of these dining and food opportunities are actually included in your cruise experience. So it really is the best of all worlds in the sense that we offer you some of the best destinations, and your mean of transportation, well, is also a beautiful hotel that brings you
Right.
from one destination to the other, right?
It's like your floating hotel that includes your activities and your food. So that is one of the points that I like to make when people are looking at and comparing the cost of a cruise versus other types of vacations. When you add in that it includes your hotel, your meals, and your lots of activities on board, and then your excursions where your ports of call where you can have those different excursions and different experiences throughout the week. If you added all that up, it's probably cheaper than what it would cost you to stay home and be on vacation here.
And there are some destinations where there is no way that you can travel for a better value than on a
Right.
cruise ship. I mean, point in case, you look at the Mediterranean, and if you'd like to travel Europe, compare the cost of your hotels, your car rental, the price of the fuel in Europe, your meals. When you tally it up together and you compare it against what a cruise in Europe would cost you, there's just, I
No
mean,
comparison.
yeah, absolutely.
And just back to the guest experience, I guess I can kind of add in what our guest experience is like, and I know that they truly value our cruise hints and tip sheet. From the many cruises that we've taken, plus the feedback from our guests, we've compiled a document that we make available to all of our guests. So that gives them a lot for first time cruisers. It's funny little things that people may not know. And, if somebody's been on many cruises, it's like second nature, it's automatic. But if you've never been on a cruise before, knowing certain kinds of little details of what's included, what's not included, and what you can expect. And even from the point of, getting your taxi or your drive to the port and leaving your luggage, and, somebody takes it and tags it, you don't need to worry about it anymore. It will show up in your room. And then when you enter the terminal and going through, it's like getting on a flight in some ways, but you've already done your paperwork because we've already guided you in that direction, and you've done your online check-in. So you show up, you show you what your paperwork that you've printed and your credit card that you've put on your account, and they take your ID and you're good to go. Get on board. We always suggest to get on board like around lunchtime or a little before. Even though your room may not be ready, that's perfectly okay. Make sure you have a bathing suit in your carry-on bag that you have with you. You can go to the buffet and have your lunch and enjoy that while people are milling about, and people are maybe rushing, but you're there enjoying your leisurely lunch, and then you can enjoy the pools or any of the areas on board. So that embarkation day is sometimes people find it confusing just because they don't have the information.
Very true. And you were talking about the staterooms. Yesterday, we were talking about the quality of the housekeeping service on board a cruise ship. I mean, for those of you who've never sailed on a cruise ship before, you've only been at hotels, you're used to having your housekeeping service being done once every day, right? But on a cruise ship, it's, well, minimum 3 times a day.
I know the day after I get home or for the first week, I'm wondering, why are those towels still on the floor in the bathroom?
You know, where's my stateroom attendant?
Another thing too that is an important point about booking a cruise, and some people feel like once they've booked, like things are final, and there is such a thing as a portion of a non-refundable deposit that you can explain a little bit. But I also want to say that one of the big things about a cruise is that if there's a better promo or a better price that comes along for your cruise after you've booked, 9 chances out of 10 we can adjust your price and you can take advantage of that. That's a huge benefit, especially in today's world where people are looking ahead and, not sure if this is the best price or if there's going to be a better price. We can say that it probably is the best price right now because the demand is going to be so great, but
Well,
You know,
maybe-
that
yeah.
difference between a non-refundable deposit usually gives a bit better price if people want to go with that. So can you speak to that briefly?
I'm hoping my volume is, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can. Okay. I wasn't sure if my. So the nice thing is you said 9 out of 10 times we can adjust the price. Now we're at 10 out of 10 times we can do that. So we are offering the best
Okay.
price guarantee right now. So essentially how that works. So any booking made now between now and April 30th of this year, out to 2022, if the price changes, so really the trick to the trade is 90 days prior to sailing, your travel partner would be able to adjust that pricing. So if it's dropped by $200, your travel partner can go and get that corrected. And then after that 90-day mark, up until sale date, that's typically when you were not able to change the price. You were locked in. But now we want to build that confidence with our consumers. So within that 90 days prior to your sale date, if your cruise price drops of any value, whether it's $1 or $1,000, what we'll do is we'll actually convert that difference into an onboard credit. So you're actually not losing any money. So you're completely protected. So that onboard credit, again, for new cruisers, perhaps those that have cruised know exactly what an onboard credit is. You know, when I say that to someone that hasn't cruised, they're like, is that a casino credit? Is it for the arcade? Like, you know, sometimes you kind of neglect what that means. But essentially, that's what's going to pay for things like your specialty dining, or perhaps you want to take a shore excursion or anything of that nature, anything that goes sort of on your account, your onboard credit would cover that. So right now is a great time to book, simply because that is one portion of it. And the second portion of it is, you know, you can book now for the future. And if you're not comfortable, so say I want to go away for Christmas time because that's when I feel like I really want to get away. If it's now November and I'm not comfortable, we have a 100% guarantee. So that means I can change my mind, and that 100% I will get a future cruise credit to use within 12 months. So it kind of protects me, gives me something to look forward to, something to plan to, but we know the world is very volatile right now, unfortunately. I'm trying not to use a buzzword that we're all sick of, but we don't know what the future holds. We hope for better days, but at least I know I'm protected. There's no loss. There's no risk on my side. I will be protected that way. So I think that kind of is a really nice touch that Royal Caribbean is adding, because we really do want to get back to cruising, but we know there's some uncertainty out there, and that's completely fair. So we want to make sure that you're confident booking with us. So
Yeah, that's a really important piece, because that is one of the things we're seeing here at the agency as well. People are starting to talk travel and dream travel for sure. Obviously not traveling anywhere right now from here locally anyway. Other places they may be, but not on cruises right now. But that is for the future. So it's the time for traveling, planning, and dreaming. And having that flexibility is what gives people the confidence to actually dream and make a plan that they know if they need to change it, it can be changed. That's a really important piece. So where people would like to go on a cruise, it depends on the purpose of the trip, obviously. Caribbean cruises are very popular. Mediterranean cruises are very popular. For families in particular, I would say we probably see Caribbean cruises for sure be the most popular. And so we've taken a look to see what is available in 2022 that we can offer at some special benefits and things like that for some of our families and couples that would like to travel. So we're looking at Easter dates for 2022. We know that's a very popular time frame. It's a long weekend or a week off, depending on where you work or in school or whatever. So we have a couple of cruises that I think, Eric, you're going to speak to and give a bit more information. One is for a 6-night cruise out of Miami on the Jewel of the Seas. And the other one is a 7-night cruise out of Barbados, which holds particular appeal to me because it's a southern destination and it goes into a port every day. And it's all different ports. Like, so many people have been on probably a number of Caribbean cruises and they may not have been to any of these ports before. So can you take us through that?
Of course, with pleasure. Absolutely, Lois. I need to agree with you when you say that the Grandeur of the Seas out of Barbados is absolutely a stunning itinerary. It is a Sunday to Sunday 7-night cruise that actually leaves out of Barbados. And what is absolutely amazing when you think about that itinerary is that, and I'm sure that people realize when we say Barbados, you're already in the heart of the Caribbean. So it's not as when you leave out of Florida, you have 1 day, 1.5 days before you hit the actual Southern Caribbean islands, which is fine because I love my days at sea. But sometimes I want to go on a trip of discovery. And that really is what this particular cruise is all about, because there is one port every single day. So from Bridgetown, Barbados, you're going to go to Tobago, you're going to go to Trinidad, you're going to stop in my ultimate favorite port, St. George's in Grenada. And why is it my favorite port? Because Grenada is the Spice Island, and I am I was going to say I'm a cook. Well, maybe during the pandemic I needed to become one, but I love cooking and I love my spices. And when you go into St. George's, Grenada, there is actually an excursion that takes you into the rainforest where you can see nutmeg growing on trees, and you can actually taste it, and you see cinnamon bark, and you see all these wonderful spices in their natural habitat. Absolutely phenomenal. Kingstown and St. Vincent, and then you go to Dominica. Dominica, you can't miss the Champagne Beach, where you're going to go and have a swim in some water that is bubbling beneath you. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then St. Lucia. St. Lucia, you need to go around the island. You need to see the banana plantations. And of course, you need to stop at the Pitons, these two beautiful twin mountains on the side of St. Lucia. And I did some snorkeling over there a few years ago. Absolutely phenomenal experience. And then back to Barbados. So this itinerary with one port every day shows you really the best of the exotic of the Southern Caribbean islands. And when you think of it, it's probably one of the best sampling trips of your life. Because if you were to go to each one of these islands one at a time, so this year I'm going to go on vacation to St. Vincent, and next year I'm going to go on vacation to Grenada, and next year I'm going to go to Tobago and Trinidad, it would take you effectively 7 years to see all these islands at 1 week per year.
Good point.
Whereas in one trip of 1 week, you're going to get to sample the flavor of all these beautiful islands. And maybe you're going to want to take some notes, and maybe you're going to come back from this trip saying, well, you know what, Louis, this particular destination really talked to me. And I was wondering if you could show me a couple of options for my next vacation. I would like to spend maybe more time on this island. So this is one of the great advantages of these port-intensive trips: seeing many destinations, sampling a lot of cultures, sampling a lot of beautiful landscapes, and then who says you can't arrive in Barbados a few days before, or maybe stay a few days after, up to a week. Lois knows some absolutely amazing properties in Barbados. Some of them are all-inclusive. Some of them include a little bit less, and maybe you're going to want to go with, either that suits your particular needs. Maybe you rent a car, go around the island, because Barbados is such an amazingly beautiful island.
It's a very different perspective. Like if we're doing a Caribbean cruise, we would kind of tend to think, taking that direct flight from Toronto to Florida or wherever the cruise is leaving from. But in this case, you can still take the direct flight, but go right to Barbados. And that's an amazing experience in itself. And this cruise itinerary was chosen as well because it is very budget friendly for families. The lead-in price for the inside rooms and even up to the ocean view rooms are a really, really phenomenal rate. So if anybody's interested in that, reach out to any of the team members at Travel Time, and we'd be happy to assist you with that. And then the other one is out of Miami. So again, that would be the traditional type of experience where leaving from Miami for a 6-night cruise. And that one too is a very, very good option for families.
One of my favorite ships, can I say that? The Jewel of the Seas.
Mm-hmm.
She is a classic liner. She's a ship of glass. And wherever you are on the Jewel, there's always some light that comes from the outside. If you were to take the elevators to go from deck number 5, where we have guest services, up to deck number 9, 10, or 11, whatever up, uh, you are actually going to ride a glass elevator that faces a glass panel that puts you essentially in the heart of the landscape. So it's an absolutely phenomenal experience. The Colony Club on that ship, lovely, lovely, lovely. Beautiful pool tables. Now you're going to say, Eric, how can you expect us to play pool on a cruise ship while it's moving? No, no, no. It's a self-leveling pool table. So you're going to be able to play pools. No, don't worry about it. Your balls are going to go exactly where you intend them to be. So, you know, if you shoot a ball that doesn't go where you want it, you're not going to have that excuse. And the destinations are great. So we're going to stop in Key West. We're going to stop in the pirate island of Grand Cayman in the town of Georgetown, and we're going to go to Cozumel as well. Cozumel, if you love to do some diving, whether it's the full-on diving with the gear and the bottles and whatnot, or if it's just the little diving like I do with just the mask, you are going to be right beside the second longest coral reef in the world. So there are absolutely some great
Amazing
colors and great
experiences.
fishes to be seen. Yeah.
Another thing that I get asked a lot, so maybe you can help us out with the answer to this, is a lot of people, if they've never cruised before, they're wondering about the option of taking a shorter cruise. And I
Mhm.
know that you're offering quite a few 3 and 5 night cruises. So can you just speak to what the advantages or what the reasons why people would choose that?
Short cruises are actually one of my specialties because I find myself in a place in my life where I need to travel a little bit more often, but I don't necessarily have 8 weeks vacation a year, right? So taking those short trips and just think about it. Those short trips are so frequent. You hear all the time people going to New York for a weekend, people going to Vegas for a weekend, or
So why
even
not do a cruise for the same amount of time?
exactly, right? And you can do a cruise. And the advantage of being on a cruise ship for these quick getaways is you have your incredible, beautiful restaurants, your fantastic entertainment. And I would tell you that Royal Caribbean is really putting a lot of effort, a lot of emphasis on short cruises for 21, 22, and 23. We're really putting our best foot forward with the best ships, with some amazing entertainment. And you know what? If you think that a short cruise maybe is not for you because you want to have something a little bit longer, there are so many other ways to apprehend it. You could look at a back-to-back short cruise. So why not combine a 3 with a 4, or a 4 night with a 5 night perhaps? Or even look at adding a hotel portion before the cruise or even after the cruise. Or why not both and make it into a surf and turf, as I like to call it. So there's a lot of ways to look at it, and especially for first-time cruisers, it's happened to me so often when I'm doing consumer shows or consumer events. People come and see me and say, Eric, I've never cruised, but I'm finding that 7 days would be a little bit too long for me. And I always say the same thing. You know what? There are short cruises that you can try. In my opinion, 3 nights is a little bit too short, especially for a short cruise. I tend to privilege the 4 nights or even the 5 nighters. But you know what? If a 3 night is your thing with a little bit of hotels before or after, then absolutely. I think it's a great solution. What do you say,
One
Patricia?
one of the pluses that I see, the Coco Key is
That's it.
such a big draw for
Yes.
families. If that's a way for them to get to visit there twice with 2 back-to-back short cruises, that's a win-win.
And it's hilarious, and that's why I was calling on Patricia because of the image that's right behind her.
Yeah, that's the amazing part. So if you look at the new deployment that's been released, almost every single one of our short Caribbean sailings fits up perfect day at Coco Cay. So when you talk about value of getting on a cruise ship with all the entertainment and activities we talked about prior to this, and then including including a stop at Perfect Day, like that is a full trip. You are definitely getting a lot of value there. And our private island is, and we could do a whole session on this. So if I had to just describe it in a very tiny frame, it would be really, there is something for everyone, like our ships. So there's like a thrill and a chill spot, right? So for your thrill, we have our water park, we have lots of water slides, wave pool, we have our zip lining, we have our up and away air balloon. So lots of action. And if beach is your thing, we got 3 different beaches to choose from. So you have your more relaxing beaches, you have more of your sporty beaches if you're like a beach volleyball or you want to do stand-up paddle boarding. And then we have a gorgeous Oasis Lagoon freshwater pool that feels like it spans across the whole middle of the island. So for those, it's a good foray. I would add to Eric, all of Eric's points are fantastic. It's also a good way to get your all-inclusive consumers to try out cruising. So if you put them on a short cruise, or if someone's listening right now and has never tried one, short cruising is good because you get a little taste if it's for you. And then what's really nice is once you go to this private island, if you're at that swim up bar kind of, you know, you like your swim up bar during the day, you want to listen to Caribbean themed music, Oasis Lagoon is for you. So you can grab a nice cocktail, listen to some music, and you can really feel the experience of cruising. And it's a great foray into this. So big fan of Coco Cay for sure.
It's a win both ways.
It really is.
Absolutely.
Well, this was fantastic information. I'm sure that the listeners today are going to go away from this session and be so much better informed about cruising and the reasons why it's a great choice, and also, you know, the way forward as far as planning and booking and dreaming about the upcoming travel. So is there anything that haven't covered that you'd like to put out there before we clue up?
Patricia?
Oh, I would say, well, first off, thanks for tuning in and listening, because that means you're interested, and hopefully Eric and I have painted a wonderful picture. I would say, you know, we're living in odd times, we know that, but, you know, the 3 keys to happiness, and I've been saying this for years, and it couldn't be more true than it is today, is something to do, which all of us got something to do, whatever it is, whether it's housework or work or something, someone to love. We've got plenty of people in our lives. It's the something to look forward to that a lot of us are missing, and that is the 3rd key to happiness. So really, this is about dreaming and planning for the future and something to look forward to. We all can't wait to get back out there. I'm sure everyone listening feels the exact same way. I'm sure I'm striking a chord there. So just excited.
I love that.
Right.
I love that. Something to look forward to. And for the calls and emails that we're taking, that is exactly correct. That is the piece people are missing. They're ready to dream, plan, and travel later. And we didn't mention at the outset, but somebody who comments on our live post today, we're going to do a random draw for a very nice Royal Caribbean bag, the beach bag. So I'll be happy to send that out to somebody who makes a comment or ask a question on our live feed today. Okay. I would like to thank both of you for your time today in bringing all of this valuable content to our listeners. I am sure that it will go a long ways to ignite the passion in our cruisers. And even if there's people who have not cruised before, this gives them a lot of information that will show them how easy it is and how great a vacation choice it is. We know people are not everybody's ready to travel right now, which is perfectly fine. Neither are we, but we are ready to dream and travel and plan for the future. So thank you very much to both of you. I really appreciate your time today, and thank you for bringing such valuable content to our listeners.
Thank you, Lois.
Thank you so much.